Starbucks Workers Union. It has been less than a year since we were standing in front of this store waiting for Starbucks to decide whether they were going to settle or fight the charges of anti-union intimidations that were about to be handed down from National Labor Relations Board. At that time, Starbucks settled the charges and said they would not block attempts by baristas in Grand Rapids to join the industrial workers of the world. We now know they didn't intend on following the settlement agreement when they signed it. They've continued to violate the National Labor Relations Act as well as the settlement agreement they signed with the NLRB, which is why the Starbucks Workers Union has filed charges against them again. Howard Schultz, we told you last time we wouldn't be intimidated by your managers for standing up for our rights. We are the Starbucks Workers Union, and we will still tell all our fellow baristas the reasons why they should be in this union no matter what happens to us. Since our sisters and brothers started this fight almost 4 years ago, we've seen an increase in our wages, and here at this store, baristas are consistently scheduled since the union drive began. Other than that, the chance to be in a group that is run by myself and my co-workers with only our interests in mind is why I'm in the union. No matter what the NLRB decides in the current legal case, we are here today on May Day to say to our fellow baristas around the world that we stand with you, and together we determine the future of Starbucks Coffee Company. There is no reason to be scared anymore about publicly saying you're in the IWW. When you join your fellow baristas in this union, you are immediately connected with the baristas and people from your community and around the world who are willing to support you as you make Starbucks meet your demands at your store. Happy May Day for the One Big Union.
Al aproximarse la fecha del cuarto aniversario de la fundación del Sindicato de Trabajadores de Starbucks, nos encontramos aquí en solidaridad no solo con los baristas alrededor del mundo que luchan por tener voz en el trabajo, sino también con quienes no tienen acceso a agua potable, o la oportunidad de mandar a sus hijos a la escuela. Nosotros, los trabajadores de Starbucks, sabemos que su imagen de compañía socialmente responsable es una mentira, por el hecho de que nos intimidan y nos acosan por formar parte del sindicato. Ahora contamos con evidencia de la delegación del sindicato que viajó a Etiopía y de los medios de comunicación, las cuales corroboran que el pago a los agricultores por los granos de café en Asia, África y Latinoamérica no es suficiente para sobrevivir. Estamos conscientes de que nuestra situación como baristas y la de los campesinos están vinculadas, y es por eso que hoy anunciamos que nuestra determinación en esta lucha es tan firme como hace 4 años cuando el sindicato comenzó. Continuaremos luchando en contra de las políticas antisindicales y anticomercio justo en los juzgados y en las calles hasta que triunfemos. Así, en el Día Internacional del Trabajo, nos solidarizamos con los trabajadores que luchan por sus derechos en sus trabajos y en contra de sus patrones. Solidaridad para siempre por un solo y gran sindicato.
This press conference today is part of a spring offensive that was announced by the Grand Rapids IWW and Starbucks Workers Union back in March. The goal of the offensive is to increase pressure on the company here locally to meet our demands. As part of the offensive, union members have increased their presence in area Starbucks stores, talking to baristas and customers about the Starbucks Union and Starbucks' unlawful response to Starbucks organizing. Tonight there will be a May Day celebration with the IWW at the Meanwhile Bar. It begins at 8 p.m. and in the spirit of solidarity and for International Workers' Day, the Starbucks Union will be buying the first beer for all baristas in Grand Rapids, whether they're in the Starbucks Union or not, or whether they work at Starbucks or not. All baristas in Grand Rapids. There will be information about the union as well as resources for all local workers to assert their rights at their job. On May 7th, there will be a live call-in TV show on GRTV that will feature local baristas, union members and not, and they will discuss. There will also be another live call-in show on May 21st, and that will update the status of the current local unfair labor practice charges filed by the union. Both these shows start at 8 p.m. and are live call-ins. The local Starbucks union will also participate in markets and festivals throughout the spring and summer to not only draw attention to this fight, but to also link up with other baristas and low-wage workers in this town because an injury to one is an injury to all. With that being said, the Starbucks Union recently received a correspondence from our fellow sisters and brothers in the CNT Union in Spain. On April 24th, our sister Monica was unlawfully fired from a Starbucks in Sevilla, Spain. We demand the reinstatement of our fellow sister Monica. Starbucks anti-union intimidation does not discriminate on nationality or color. We extend our solidarity from Grand Rapids, Michigan, To our sisters and brothers of the CNT in Sevilla, as we now join this fight together to end Starbucks repression. Along with the CNT, we want to thank all local people and groups that have endorsed this campaign. A complete list of endorsers can be viewed on the Michigan Peace Network website under the IWW. Also, we want to thank those that have joined us locally, like the Social Justice Coalition from Calvin, also Fair Trade Awareness, Initiating Relationships, and Grand Valley's chapter for Students for Fair Trade. So in closing, Howard Schultz, if you want to end all this, if you want the stock prices to stop falling, meet our demands unconditionally today. Pay baristas and coffee farmers more than poverty wages. Respect baristas' right to organize. Happy May Day for the One Big Union. Thank you very much.